I wanted to take a moment to cover something here real quick. It's been a while since I've done a video. It's been pretty quiet. I guess the holiday season has kept us all with family and other things going on. But be it that it may, I wanted to cover something real quick. I just got an email here by somebody, which I'm going to try to help him all I can. I don't really know him too well, but I would presume or assume whatever terminology works best on that. I'm having one of those days, sorry. I'm trying to get my damn camera to adjust, but I think we're good. I'm not trying to, this isn't a beauty contest. I'm just trying to set this up so when I talk to you, it's not annoying. But anyway, he had a question about he's new at music licensing, and he just got accepted to a library, and they're asking him for all these alt mixes, and he doesn't know anything about it. All he does is he likes to write music, and he goes in and he pays for studio time, and he pays for these guys to do this work for him. And I get that some of you guys, you want to do this and you're not really good at it, and it's okay. Part of that learning this business is that's something that's going to cost you a lot of money in the long run, and it takes a while to get really cranking in this business. And the best advice I can give you, one, before I go into this, is simply this: learn how to record, learn how to produce. There's so many resources, more than I could possibly imagine, out on YouTube. I can't even begin to to keep up with all this stuff. And what I'm about to go over real quick is, I'm not really sure how much has been talked about it on the YouTube world. There's so many resources out there. I can't even begin to keep up with it. I mean, YouTube's an amazing resource. I mean, I kid you not, you literally could get a college degree from YouTube. It's so informative. I'm surprised YouTube hasn't set up their own college yet, an accredited university. It's unbelievable. There's your free college. You want to get trained at something, YouTube is absolutely amazing. But moving forward here, I told him this. I said, excuse me. I told him this. I said, basically, here's what you need to do. And this is, I'm going to pass this on to you guys. And if someone has talked about this already, maybe I put it and shed a different light on it. Or I'm just going to reiterate it. Simply this: if you go and you pay for some recording time for your stuff, and you have another engineer, producer work with you this, it is very important, no matter whether a publisher asks for this or not, set up a package. And I call it a package because it's a file of everything you're going to need of your, what they call deliverables, to these libraries or clients that you work with, as such, as it should be. Because each library has their own needs. Each library may require a bit rate of 48K 24-bit. Some are still asking for 44K 16-bit. I still work with a library or two that does that. Simply for them, it's just server space, and they claim they're just going to convert it back over, and it's something a step they don't want to take. Some libraries just want to have it in place and ready to go to 44K 24-bit, and they have it there for they're not so concerned with server space because they know it's a requirement anyway. But again, it's all preference. So again, you're going to work with libraries that have different requests and preference, and each one is going to be unique in what alt mixes and various things that they need as what they call deliverables. So here's the easiest way to do this. When you go get studio time, you need to tell that producer or engineer, regardless of what recording software he's using or anything, doesn't matter. If this guy can't do it for you, find somebody who can. Or tell him you're going to need the stems, that's the individual tracks of your session, with no mastering on the master bus, and you're going to need all that to take it to a guy who can edit it for you and knows how to do that. If they don't want to do that for you, you probably need to find someone else you're paying to record you, because it's his job. It may cost you a little bit more money, and if he's if there's any salt about him as a producer, he's going to say, hey, listen, it's another $100 for me to do that, or $200, whatever he charges. Fair is fair. It's work. It's his time to be able to get those edits done and did them for you. You need to ask him this: when we get done with this project, I need a mastered version in a WAV format. And I think, honestly, it's best to tell him, just in case, whether you need it or not, you have this file. You need a waveform mastered in 44K 16-bit. You need one rendered in 48K 24-bit. You have it just in case it's ever asked for. And keep all this stuff in, on a side note, Keep everything I'm telling you in these files, every song you do, on secure hard drives. Don't throw this stuff out, because I can guarantee you, there's been times publishers have asked me for certain different mixes. Keep all your session files. Ask them to put the session file of what they're doing in that folder as well. So you want the session file, you want a complete mastered version in 44K 16-bit, a complete mastered WAV file version in 48K 24-bit. The AIF I wouldn't be so concerned with. There are a few that ask for that, but you can convert that later. Just get those two. It's very important. Beyond that, what you need to do is you need to tell him you need a narrative version. Some call it a reduced mix. A narrative version is one that has no vocals, no leads. It's basically a dialogue version there. It sits on under, has no busy leads or anything. It just gives them an option whether they do or don't want those parts, or they want a longer version of it. You want to no vocals. If you have vocals in it, you want one mix that has no vocals in it. So you've got those two ones I told you that are rendered, mastered at those 2 bit rates. You've got a full mix, those 2 full mixes, those are the full. You've got a narrative version, which is the no leads, no vocals. You've got no vocals. And then from there, a lot of them are gonna ask you for what they call cut downs, 60-second, 30-second, a bumper, which is a 12 to 15-second, and a stinger. So you tell them you want a 60-second mix, you want a 30-second mix, and you want a bumper, which is a 12 to 15-second, and then you want a stinger. You want those mixes, and it's usually the last 60, the last 30 seconds of it, which is the highlight and the highest point of the track. In other words, it's a track that's going to, for advertising or take you out into a commercial or whatever edited points they need. And editors like this stuff. It saves them time, saves them resources, and they can just drop and go. Very little things, the less they have to do, the more is there to them. Probably the more likely they are to use your tracks. And that's really always the case here. And sometimes they don't care. They edit their own. So, I mean, they take what they want. But it depends on the library. It depends on their client. So, if you want to know how to render out the 60, 30, 12 to 15 second bumper to stinger, so many resources to show you how to do it out on YouTube. And honest to God, I can't remember if I've done it. I may have done a video. And if I didn't, I will do a video on that kind of how to do it, because on that stinger, basically, stinger is that button stinger ending. That's why you never fade everything out. You have a good solid ending. It's that last chord, and it should fade quickly. Don't let it fade out like the normal track. Just let it fade quickly. But before that, I'll have a lot of libraries ask me, put a riser or a swell in front of that stinger. Just a little build up, like ta-da, it's that last chord. Basically, they like that stinger in place for one reason. They may take the intro of your track, and I've had TV networks take like the first beat of a track and just the last chord, ching. And I had to sit there and listen to that placement like 6 times to figure out, I know what I'm listening for. Where the hell is it? And I've quickly figured out they just use that same beat. We're talking less than 12 seconds of audio, you know, and you get paid $100 for something like that. You don't really care on that one, just that one little one. You don't even care how they use it. They're going to use it. Whatever they use of it, they're going to report that track is used and for the amount of time they use it and however the usage code was. Completely different subject. But I'm just saying, it's important if you're going to do this. It's also, if you're going to learn how to produce, every track you do, get in the habit of doing this. It'll save you so much grief. I do it every time I do a track. I do it, and really most of the cases, I know the library I'm writing for, so I know what they require. So I just will get all that done right then and there. I don't go back and do 10 tracks and go back to those tracks and edit them all down. You're working smarter, not harder. This is a volume, but you got to keep the quality in place when you're doing it. Quality and quantity. Got to have that quality. You got to work towards that quantity. To get it done, like I say, when you work with templates, is to try to get everything, get your whole package done in that. Back everything you do up. I don't care what it is, back it up. And other than that, you'll be in great shape. But I just wanted to touch on that real quick. But whatever you do, make sure this is done. If the guy you're working with doesn't want to do it, find somebody who will. If you don't have too many people that, you know, you have an option to work with to produce and record your music, just tell them to send the stems out to you. Get the stems rendered with the full mix, the individual tracks non-mastered, and send it to a guy who will do it. Better yet, if he masters and mixes it, just tell him to send the stems mastered, ready to go. You can master each stem. It's already mastered. Just stem out everything mastered and just state that it is. Someone else that you find somewhere in the world that can edit it for you, all they've got to do is drop it in, edit it down, and render the mix accordingly. They don't have to do any mastering, no effects, anything. They can drop it in the DAW, edit it out, and get it done for you. But just know that's probably going to cost you a little bit extra. Anyway, hope that helps. Until next time, be cool.